Another really powerful passage. Is there tension and vulnerability in supporting both the police and the activists? Hell yes, it's the wilderness. But most criticism comes from people who are intent on forcing false dichotomies or shaming us for not hating the wrong people. This is where I see so much pain and conflict, especially because I run an online business.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention to conversations on social media, and even when someone is trying to open up a conversation, I see so much misunderstanding, and if you're not with us, you're against us.
Yeah.
And there's no room for nuance.
No.
And I'm wondering if you can speak to this a little bit, because it was in the section about conflict transformation and how do we stay brave when having these difficult conversations. I know it's a lot, so we'll go where.
No, it's like, I don't know the answer to all of it. What I do know is, because it's scary. It's scary for me. And, I have a bachelor's, master's, and PhD in social work.
Yeah.
Like, I was trained in this language, in these conversations. I've studied dehumanization for 10 years. And still, when I go do a Facebook Live around something that's happening, I'm scared to death. Because here's what I know. I know that I'm not going to do it perfectly.
Right.
I know that not only the people who oppose my politics and my beliefs are going to come after me, but I know that the people who I believe that are my allies are going to come after me, because I'm going to do it imperfectly.
Yes.
But opting out of speaking out because we may get criticized, to me, is the definition of privilege. Like, I don't really have to speak out because there are no crosses burning in my front yard. My kids seem pretty safe. I'm not getting pulled over. I'm not, everything seems fine. So to opt out because it's safe is what privilege is. And so the way I think we have the conversations is you stay grounded in your humility and curiosity, and you say, here's what I believe. Let me spare you coming back and telling me how imperfect it is by saying right up front, I know it's going to be imperfect, but I'm not going to let my imperfection move me away from the conversation because it's too important. And here's the thing that I live by, and here's the thing that I invite people to live by. At the end of the day, at the end of the week, and the end of my life, I want to be able to say that I contributed more than I criticized. And so if all you're doing is criticizing people who are trying to engage in conversations that heal and bring hope, shut up. I mean, really, just don't talk, because it's not useful. It's not useful.
I know, this is going to air a little bit later than when we're taping it, because that's how the world of video works. But you recently did a Facebook Live. You did one yesterday, and I watched it. And I just thought it was so wonderful, because I was looking through the comments, and I loved seeing, where there were places where people were taking issue with a particular word or a particular phrase. And there were so many people that were coming in and saying, hey, I'd actually love to discuss this with you. You can PM me, but there was a quality in the intention of that that did not feel accusatory. It felt like an invitation. It felt like, hey, I want to share a viewpoint with you that you may not have considered before. And it almost brought tears to my eyes, because I've seen so little of that.
It's amazing. It was amazing,
It was
right?
amazing.
And we're talking about 10,000 comments.
Yes.
But here's the thing, that's hard fought. We don't curate the comments, but we police them. And I'm very clear about that.
Can you talk about that distinction? Because I think, especially in our audience, and I know, you and I have so many friends in this space, people who are authors, people who lead companies, people who have the privilege of having an audience. And I think they would love to hear from you. That's why I'm asking these questions, to have tools, because a lot of folks are like, I want my so-and-so who I admire to speak out. And I think what you said is so key here, that you've been studying this for 10 years, and you walk into these conversations still feeling really nervous.
Oh my God. Oh, completely vulnerable. In fact, when I taped that Facebook Live on Charlottesville, my voice was shaking for the first 10 minutes of it. Like, I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it all the way through.
I didn't notice that, just so you know.
And it was a full scheduled taping day of other things. And it was scheduled to be taped in the afternoon. I said, as soon as I got there in the morning, I said, I have to do this now because it's so heavy on my heart. And I'm so afraid that if I give myself time, I'll rationalize myself out of doing it. So for me, it's about this. This is my space on Facebook. You can have your, everybody can have their own space. In my space, you can disagree, we can debate, we can argue, but you're not going to shame other people. You're not going to name call, and you're not going to put people down. If you do, I'm probably going to ask you once not to do it, and then we'll ban you from the page. And I do not think there are enough spaces in the world right now. There are some people who do it really well. TED does it really well because it's kind of comments are moderated, I guess is the right word, by the people who comment there, the community. So
Yeah.
they'll vote you off the island, I guess, if it's too inappropriate. But I'm not going to tolerate that because it doesn't contribute.
Yes.
Now, if someone says like, hey, Brene, you're wrong, and I totally disagree, and this is why I disagree, then I'm going to answer. If
Yep.
I can't answer everyone, but I'm going to answer as many as I can, and we'll debate it. If they come on and say, I hate you, and I'm going to, I hope you get killed, you can delete it. I mean, like, it's just,
Yeah.
why contribute?
Yep.
And I don't think it's curated, but there is a homeowners association.
Yeah. No, I think it's really important. We do, it's a different thing because it doesn't tend to go into those content areas, but in our B School community, I have such a strong stand for kindness and be like, but what? And I'm like, look, negativity is toxic. We can debate ideas.
Yeah.
We can talk about different strategies, but we will not trash talk people. We will not trash talk other programs,
Right.
other business. No, like, let's keep it. And it's amazing how much forward progress and healthy conversations and true growth can happen when you take care of that safe space.
Yeah, it's Jill Bolte Taylor who said, take responsibility for the energy you bring into a room. And I feel like what people don't do online and social is they don't take responsibility for the energy they put out into the world. And in the worst case scenario, what they're putting out in the world is actually disembodied from their identity. It's anonymous.
Yeah.
So I respond to nothing that's anonymous. So if you've got some kind of flower icon and your name is like Lily from
Sassy Pants.
Sassy
123.
Pants 123, I'm not responding to you
Yeah.
because you're not in the arena, you're not showing up, you're not being brave. So I'm not going to have the conversation.
Yeah. And I think what I've been watching too is I think it's so much more effective. When people, there's also like this call out thing happening. And I think there's probably a distinction to be made between holding people accountable
Yeah.
and shaming people
Yeah.
because it's not a way to open up a conversation. You're not going to get folks to actually engage and then possibly grow and come together
No.
when you're making them wrong.
No, I mean, shame never drives positive behavior. What shame drives is rage, anger, rationalization, and blame. And so if you're looking at kind of the white supremacists and the KKK and the Nazis who are marching around towns and you say, let's just shame them. Like, let me tell you, if they weren't ass high in shame already, they wouldn't be marching through town spewing hatred. Is it my job to heal them and take care of them? No. But I'm not going to contribute to it. I'm not going to say, look, they're on fire. Let me throw some gasoline on it. There's no, and the other thing is when you shame people, it hurts you.
Yeah.
Like it hurts you. It's part of, it's hard to shame people without dehumanizing them too. I'm just not going to do that. What I am for is holding people accountable. And but the thing is, and this is the hard part. Holding people accountable is not as much fun and does not deliver the emotional satisfaction that raging against people and shaming people do. So when you post some hideous meme about the white trash, khaki Izod wearing, when it feels good. Like you feel like, look at me, your anger has someplace to go. It does nothing but to contribute to the vitriol. It does nothing. Nothing. And so shame begets shame in the same way that violence begets violence. It's not the answer. Is the answer to coddle? And this is what people say. Oh, Brene doesn't want us to shame anyone. She wants us to coddle people. Well, if the only two tools that you have in your tool bag are shame or coddle, that's a sorry ass tool bag.
You need to upgrade your tool
You need
bag.
to upgrade. Yeah, there's like 500 things.
You need to
between
go to
shame.
Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
Get a big basket.
And get you a Texas-sized tool bag
Yes.
that has things like, curiosity, accountability, social justice.
Yes.